as a young boy, I wanted all the stuff you're told to want when you're a young kid. I wanted nice house, nice job, nice family, car, all of that good stuff. But my sexual orientation had a few other ideas. And I think I was probably about 14 years old by the time that I realized or was told that God wasn't super fond of men of the homosexual variety. However, I stayed with the church at that time because I kind of figured if anyone was going to help me get rid of this unwanted shame I had, God was surely the very fellow to do that. And a few years later, I would mostly be seen hanging around with my best Christian friend, Marcus. Marcus was cool, Marcus was charismatic, and Marcus was cute, and Marcus smelled really good as well, which was very unusual for teenage boys, I guess. And I guess I was a bit in love with Marcus, maybe infatuated even. One day, Marcus called me up and said, can I come over? It's really important. So I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, come over. He got to my house and he said, look, is there somewhere we can go and talk? So we went to the privacy of my bedroom and he sat on my bed, trembling, and said, I've got a really horrible secret to tell. I'm not sure I can say it. And I thought, well, I've got a horrible secret to share as well. I wonder if it's the same one, the same secret that I had been maybe fantasizing about at various times as well. So I suggested that we both write our secrets down and swap paper and we'd read each other's paper. So we wrote our secrets down and he gave me his paper, I gave him mine, and I opened it up and his said, I'm addicted to masturbation. A 17-year-old boy addicted to masturbation, groundbreaking. But is that it? Is that it? He opened my paper and they did not say the same thing. Mine said, I think I'm gay. And he read that and his face dropped. And he said to me, I don't think I can be your friend anymore if you're going to be gay. And I guess compulsive masturbation didn't seem quite so bad at this point. But he wanted to pray for me, to pray the gay away. And I didn't know what to do. I panicked. I thought, he could tell someone, he could tell my parents, he could out me to various people. So I said, okay, and I let him pray for me. There were tears and snot and all the nasty stuff. And at some point, when I just couldn't take anymore, I said, look, I think I'm not gay anymore, to get him to stop praying. And, well, he didn't know. So the only thing that really changed that day was that I felt rejected. I felt rejected by him, I felt rejected by God, I felt rejected by pretty much the whole world. And on that day I realized that the happy endings that other people could have weren't for me. I wasn't going to get that. Now, it took me another 4 years or so to get the confidence to try coming out again, and I was at university at the time, and I came out to some friends at university. I'm happy to say the responses were a bit more positive, and it gave me the confidence to come out to my parents. So I decided in the next holidays I would come out to my parents, and when they picked me up from the train station for the Christmas holidays, they drove back to the house, and every conversation in the car was about gay people, gay this, gay that, our friend's son's gay. And it wasn't me who was starting that conversation, so something was going on. And we got back to the house and I asked my mum, I said, what's happening? What's all this conversation about in the car? That was weird. And she said, we know, me and your dad, we know you're gay. And it's okay, we love you. I was like, oh, great. It was like many queer kids, you have that fear for years and years of what your parents will do when they find out. Are they going to kick you out? Are they going to disown you? Or the real fears for many people. And mine didn't. Now, we've certainly had our ups and downs. My dad wasn't very comfortable with it still. And about a year or so later, their church got kind of infiltrated by this weird religious cult from the US. And they seemed to get amnesia about their son being gay for 6 to 12 months. But then that went. Thankfully that went and things normalized again. Wasn't perfect and there was still a lot of work to do. Now, I think I pretty much decided at that point that happy endings and relationships probably weren't my thing. Like, my relationship history was colourful at best, not very successful. And that seemed to be even more the case when I moved to Javier, down the coast here. And Javier, the gay scene there is like several old retired couples who live together of the same sex. That's pretty much it. But I was happy there. I made some friends there. Some of those friends had special benefits as well. And I was like, I could spend the rest of my years like this, and I'm pretty happy. And then I met someone. And things happened, things blossomed. And one day my parents drove by and they saw him on the terrace of my apartment. And they wanted to meet him. So we set up a dinner and they met him. And unlike any of my other boyfriends, they liked him. They were happy, conversational, they really enjoyed getting to know him. I thought, this is so much progress from anything we've ever had before, those awkward times where they'd met previous boyfriends. So I was really happy about it. Our relationship continued, and as things deepened, we maybe accelerated a little bit by Brexit happening, we decided to get married. and so when we decided to get married, I wanted to tell all my friends, I wanted to tell the family, and I did that. And I even told my Spanish teacher after our class one day. And she was so excited, she wanted to come to the wedding. And just as we were finishing up the class, a few of her friends came up. Now, I knew them. I had done charity work with Pete and Trish for about a year or so for a food bank that they set up. And so they knew who I was, and Lynn couldn't keep her mouth shut and blurted out that I was getting married. And their faces dropped. And it was a strange look. They acted as if nothing had been said and then abruptly changed the subject. Okay, well, I guess we're not inviting them. And I've had worse reactions, so, but I knew that wasn't great. But I also didn't know at the time that an invisible fuse had been lit, and that Trisha had decided to take it upon herself to start a one-woman campaign. And she started going up to various people in my parents' church who she knew and taking them aside for private conversations. And my dad kind of got the sense that something was going on, and one of the ladies actually came up to him one day and said that she had been going around various people trying to convince them that my marriage was against what God wanted and that my parents should not be supporting it or even coming to my wedding. And this lady, unknown to Trisha, had a gay daughter herself and had just been to her wedding as well. So she wasn't very happy about what was going on. Now, my dad did try and address the people, and what ended up happening was nobody was actually on her side. But Trisha did actually manage to ambush my mum at a ladies' coffee morning. And my mum was so upset, she pretty much ran out of there in tears. They didn't want to tell me because they were upset or worried about me being upset about it. Now, I think this was the first time my mum particularly had ever encountered homophobia herself, had a personal experience of that. So it was quite intense for her. But they sat me down and they told me what had gone on, and that Trisha had been waging this campaign to try and stop them attending the wedding. Now, it would have done more than just stop them attending the wedding. It would have pretty much damaged all the progress we'd made in our relationship, and probably irreparably as well. But I had worried for years and years that at some point my parents were going to have to make a choice between religion and between me. And that day I realized that they had made their decision and they'd chosen me. And it was really only at my wedding, on my wedding day, looking around seeing all of my friends and family there, that my parents were really being open about who I was. Everyone there was there to celebrate us and our love, that I actually got the happy ending that I thought I never could have.